that's not usually the side effect.
Right.
This is the thing that actually works. So I was like, oh, that's pretty silly. Like, I'm just gonna take the thing that I can go to the store and buy myself and avoid all this extra stuff. So that was like a big aha, like,
Yep.
oh wow, when did we open? Like, yeah, sorry.
No, that's good. These are good stories, because what I was telling you was that I ended up going to the Middle East and quickly trying to learn my language skills. I started seeing patients in a foreign language, and I had no tools with me because they didn't have like a big repertoire of botanical medicines or other practitioners like we have in Canada in a regulated profession who help each other. I was all alone, and all I had was like 700 homeopathic remedies, which I hadn't even used yet. I only learned I was textbook guy, just fresh graduate.
Right.
But I saw amazing things. So all I ended up doing was homeopathy. It was just, I was so dependent on it. And all I did was follow the rules, follow this, and we went through it, and I saw things that probably very few people probably would have seen in their practice. So, long story short, I ended up having medical doctors bringing me their kids, pediatricians bringing me their kids to see their cases, and people from the royal family and people from all of the people.
The guy.
Huh? Yeah, that was the guy. Yeah. So, what I'm going to try to do in this course, because especially with this audience, I'll try to distill most practical aspects of homeopathy, so that if you have a store or if you have access to things, so you can. Homeopathics are considered so weak and so placebo. Who knows what the word placebo means? What does placebo mean? It's okay. Don't feel shy if you don't know. I'm throwing quick things out. Just say, I don't know what that means, or you can take a guess, right? Do you know placebo? Placebo, okay? Placebo is what happens when something is not working, and you think it's working, so you believe it to work, and it's only working because you believe it. So it's like it's fake medicine. Okay, that's placebo. So I'll tell you right now, if you tell someone, I'm taking a course in homeopathy, they'll say, that's just placebo. That's what they say. That's just placebo. So, homeopathy and how it works. So you said something called like cures like. Okay. Did anyone know what like cures like was? What she meant by this? Anybody? So when you were getting your case taken, she asked you, is it worse on the right side or the left side?
Yeah.
Is it worse in the morning or the evening? Or does it get better in open air?
Well, you should see my notes, my conversations. I'm like, what are you, like...
Why are you asking these questions?
Do you wake up at 3 o'clock or do you wake up at 7? And
Right.
it's like, I don't know. And it's like I have notes in my phone where I was like, okay, she asked me this, and I answered this, and I answered this, and then this was the remedy. I'm like, that's it. And then I'm like, the next week I'm like, what? I'm like, no, this time is different. But then that must mean everything's different. I'm like, I give up. So like...
And if you look it up, like, oh, I got pulsatilla.
Yes.
And then you look it up, and you're like, that's not me. I don't know, how's that going to be? And it says, this is used for babies who have like a runny nose. Yeah. And like, wait, that's not it.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
it's like, wait, that's not it. But then there's like a whole other like a level of like emotional things that
That's
come
right.
with the mental and the physical, and then the other. I'm like, oh boy, okay. I'm like, I need a proper discussion as to how this works.
How this is working. Ooh, yes. So, like cures like. Okay. So, we call regular, conventional medicine, oftentimes we use the word allopathic medicine. Have you heard of the word allopathic? Has anyone heard that word? So, allopathy is basically how regular modern medicine and conventional medicine works. And what their goal is, they oftentimes help the body to do something that it wasn't doing. All right? So if you have a cough, right, you take an antitussive against your cough. Okay? If you have a bacterial infection and you're sick, you will take an antibiotic, right? If you have a pain somewhere going on, you're going to take an anti-inflammatory, right? This is the model of allopathic medicine. because they don't have the underlying philosophy that the body has an ability to cure itself. Okay? Homeopathy, like the other naturopathic modalities, have the concept that the body has an ability to heal itself. So how do you push it in the right direction? So think of it like a teeter-totter, right? You're here, you're bent, you got something wrong. And someone says, I want to help you balance the teeter-totter. What would be the cure or the approach of a medical doctor or allopathic medicine? This is right, this is right, okay? What would you do if you were an allopathic doctor? Bring this back.
Force this side down.
Force this side down or push this side up, right? You would go against the body, the body's resisting, and you're gonna. What happens when the medicine or that weight is taken off? It goes back, right? This is the allopathic approach. Sometimes we do need that. I will grant. If you have appendicitis, you have a broken arm, you need to help the body get back into place. You can't just let the body heal itself if you're about to die. you need an emergency procedure. And allopathic medicine is very good at that. However, in chronic illnesses, this is the forte of natural therapies, specifically homeopathy, because they use the approach that the body, if it's tilted, it's not seeing its tilt properly. So what they do is they push it in the same direction, like cures like, and that is, oh my God, look at me, oh, I'm gonna fix myself. And then, same push, that's too odd. And then the body figures out, this is how I balance myself. So you push in the same direction. That's why the questions we ask are, we're trying to match them. Certain substances have certain pictures that you can match with the patient, and the same symptom cures the problem that you have. Like cures like. And it'll become a little bit more clear when I give you examples of homeopathics. And what we can do is probably, so this is the first time we're running the course, right? And maybe it might change for everybody who comes to be. If I had a bunch of doctors here or something, I would maybe make the course a little bit different. But I think what we'll do is, we won't focus too much more on like all the scientific stuff, but we'll give the rules, and then we'll give examples of homeopathics, the picture, that picture that you know, you're like, what's that, right? And you can understand them, and then from there you can maybe dibble dabble, right? That's how we learn, right? Because they are very safe. They're very safe, homeopathics, but the doses are very safe and light, but they have an effect on the body, and that effect is determined in some ways. Okay, I'm going to tell how I'm going to do it. So let's go jump into how homeopathics are used. All right. The way a homeopathic remedy is used. So does anyone have any questions about like cures like? Right? Giving a similar influence to help the body cure itself, right? The way the homeopathics are prescribed, that pushing of that teeter-totter, okay, and how much you push it is called the dosage, all right, or posology, Posology, all right. So the dosage that you give is based on how bad the problem is and how much the person can handle. So if it is a substance is diluted, this is how homeopathics are diluted. You have 100 milliliters of substance, of original substance. Do you know what the original botanical substance is called that you make in a tincture? Does anyone know? It's called mother tincture. It's called a mother tincture. So let's say you have lobelia, all right? That's one of the, a plant that's used for, pressure on the chest, feeling from cardiovascular, weakness that builds up in the lungs. Okay, it's called lobelia, right? So that, the mother tincture of lobelia is gonna be made from that herb, put into a alcoholic tincture. Okay, that's the mother tincture. To make the dose of 1 C, all right, because you're gonna, when you guys go to the store, you're gonna see, oh, these homeopathics have little numbers and X's and numbers on, right? So you see a C. Has anyone seen that on there? You've seen that, right?
It's like 1, 3, 6.
Yeah, that's right. So 1 C is, you take 1 drop of 100 milliliters of mother tincture. And you take that 1 drop and you put it into another 100 milliliters of water. Boop. 1 little drop. And then you shake that up. That is 1 C. Okay? And homeopaths are saying that's actually more potent, that's more stronger than mother tincture. Really? Just 1 little drop? The effect is different. The effect is not molecules, there's something else happening. When the water and that shaking happens, something occurs with the energetics of that plant that's transmitted into this water. Yes?
So originally your mother solution
Mother tincture?
is the herb
Yes?
and.
It could be anything.
And alcohol.
Yes, it doesn't have to be herb, it could be anything. Homeopaths are made of snake venoms and all types of.
But it's
Yes,
put into an alcohol-based solution.
yes.
And then you're taking that 1 drop
Mm-hmm,
and putting it in 200 mils of water.
that's right.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah.
Can you repeat that, please?
Sure, no problem, yeah. So mother tincture is the original substance,
Right,
and 1 drop from it mixed into another 100 milliliters.
mixed into 100 milliliters of which? Water?
Water, there's different methods, some people, you might use alcohol too.
Oh,
But
that's where I
it's-
got confused.
Yeah,
You were
no,
saying
no.
water and she said alcohol, so.
Yeah, no problem, yeah. It's originally alcohol, and then it goes into water, or it can go into alcohol too. But the point is, it's diluted,
Right,
okay, with 100 milliliters, that's what the C stands for,
okay,
okay? Sometimes they don't do 100 milliliters of water, they use 10 milliliters. That's why you'll see something called 1X, okay? So the X and the C are just different dilution amounts that they put that dilute into. Okay? Then when you take a drop from the 1C solution, which is 1 drop, and you take 1 drop and you put it in another 100 milliliter solution, right? It becomes, any guesses?
Very diluted.
Very very diluted. What would you, what would be the naming system of that second?
Juicy?
2C. Okay? That's 2C. Then you go back, take 1 drop, and they go, I guess, to 3C. Okay? Now, interestingly, through their research, because they're empiricists, right? They're evidence-based people who are looking at this. They found there are certain spikes in areas where the dilutions actually have more effect than others. All right? 3C seems to have a slightly stronger effect for some reason, more than 4C. So when you go from 3C to 4C, there's like a little dip in how much the effect is. Then it gets stronger again at 6C. Then it gets stronger at 12C. Okay?
that's crazy.
Crazy. It's amazing, actually. Yeah. So because they're researchers, right? They're looking at this. So the dosages you'll usually find are 3C, 6C, 12C, 30. The next big peak is 30C. This is the most common homeopathic you'll see. When you go to Laura's store, you'll find she has a bunch of 30C remedies. Because the effect is quite strong at 30C. Okay? Practitioners sometimes use 30C too, but when we're dealing with serious illnesses, a lot of our dosages are at 200 C, okay? Or 1 M. You know what 1 M stands for?
1,000?
1,000! This is
Wow.
well beyond Avogadro's number. You know Avogadro's number? 6.03 times 10 to the 24. Right? It's that absurd amount of dilution. You would never be able to find a molecule in if you had one part of a solution that had one molecule from about 10 to 24, right? You would never be able to find it. This is well beyond that. There's no original substance left. Nothing. That's why a lot of doctors can't get their head around it.
So in theory, your straight water, straight vodka, or whatever your tincture is.
It's gone.
It's basically all you're drinking.
That's-
all you have.
Right, that's all you have left.
That's your medicine, is your water.
Exactly. It's only water.
So why not just drink the water?
Well, you drink the water. Yeah, but the thing is that, so I'll explain how to take the dosages in a minute. What I'm telling you is that when you dilute in this controlled manner, you have to pick a dose and you have to shake it. And it has a few processes, but that's basically it. That you take it and put it in, you dilute it and put it in water. And water, there's something there that somehow remembers. It has some type of memory associated with it. This is a very unique feature with water. And we are all water. All living forms are water. And there's been a lot of research on this in terms of and other fields of water. Like, there was a Japanese science, so I used to, I was living over in the Far East as well. The Japanese are really big into water. I'm not sure if you've come across this interesting study that the Japanese scientists did where they froze water and they played different types of music around the water, and then they said horrible things like, I hate you, water, and you're horrible. And then they froze it. So the water that was exposed to rhythmic, beautiful musical beats and orchestra came up as beautiful snowflakes. And water that was exposed to something that was chaotic or mean wouldn't form properly. Water, and it's not like it's music is playing. They just exposed it to it and they froze it. So water is very interesting. And I lived in the Arab world, the Muslim world. So they also have a huge tradition, and I'm not sure you can explain that from your tradition. Water is seen as pure and purifying, and has abilities to cure. So when have you heard of holy water, right? People say the word holy water. When you recite spiritual, angelic, godly things to water and you give it to people, then there's lots of documentation about people being cured by that. And I believe that too, because in the Muslim world, when you go, they'll have fountains that are open for when people are reciting scripture and making prayers. And if you ask them, why don't you just let the water run, drink water, or make your cleaning rituals with regular water from the tap? Like, no, this is holy water. It's exposed to these spiritual things. Do you guys have that in your native culture?
Not necessarily for just water, right?
Yeah. So water has secrets, and we have to admit that we don't have all the answers. So homeopathy is the science of that. This transmission is not molecular, it's diluted in a way that something is happening at an energetic level and the water retains that. Okay? Any questions about that? I think it's very fascinating. I love this stuff. And when you explain it to people, everyone's like, you're crazy or whatever. But then they bring their kids to you and
You're crazy until they're sick.
yeah, exactly. Until you get results.
Yeah.
So then, sorry, to
Yeah.
go back to that, then the pellets that you get are sprayed with that solution? Is that what it
Okay,
is?
good question. So after you get to your dilution, let's say your 1,000th dilution went in, then they'll take a drop of that water and they will put that onto pellets. Because the sugar retains that, whatever formation of energy that is, so that you can, when you have that, whatever energy that's stored in that dilution, it retains it. Or sometimes they do it in alcohol too. So it's retained. You can just take a drop of that alcohol or drop of that pellet or whatever that at that dosage. But you never dilute it more, or because then you're gonna get off. You're gonna come off that really powerful dosage, which is it peaks at certain places, right? 3 m, 6 m, 12 m, 30, 201.
So each, or whatever that you're using has a specific dilution point? Or are they all diluting pretty much the same, like you're getting your peaks at the same rate?
Yes. So when you start diluting, right, all the dilutions are going to be the same, but the strengths are noticed at certain. So when you go and buy for all of us here, if you go buy a homeopathic remedy, you will likely buy it at the 30 posology, 30C, right? That's basically where you will see an effect, but it's not so much as dangerous, and it's not so weak that you won't notice it. Sometimes some people like to use very light dosages, and that sometimes is very effective actually for very, very weak people, very sick people, because they can't handle, they're like here, and if you do anything more, it's gonna hurt them. So you have to be careful, because, back to this analogy, 30C is like hit a little here, and then they're gonna, if you do a 1M, you're basically going, boom, right? And what that does is, you're doing like cures like. So let's have an example again of lobelia, okay? One of the symptoms of lobelia is as if an elephant is sitting on your chest. As if there's so much pressure on your chest, okay? So a patient comes to you and they said, I can't breathe properly, I'm feeling very tired, I have pressure on my chest, and then a bunch of other symptoms, okay? It takes time. For the homeopath to take a case, it might be like 2 hours. You're gonna sit there with okay, what about this? What that, right? Did it take you a lot of time too? Yeah.
But
So
it's like it's the elephant on the chest. You're like, yes. And they're like, perfect. That's
yeah, and you're like,
I
what?
just told you about like something else. And you're like, where did that come from?
Yeah.
She's like, no, the elephant just lifted it. And I'm like,
Yeah, exactly.
But not the cough,
light bulb.
not sleeping. No, the elephant.
No, the
I'm
elephant.
Like, I got it. Okay.
Right, because it means something. Vocabulary means something. So a person is, elephant on my that's my bent off elephant on my chest. So when you find that remedy, you give 30 dose, then you're making the person feel, you're giving a remedy that makes people feel like there's pressure on the chest. So it's like pushing in that direction. And then the body has an ability, and it realizes, oh, my heart's not working well, my lungs are filling up, and so it helps to make the heart work stronger, helps to clear the fluids by itself. All right? However, if you did something, if the dosage was too high, then it pushes the body in that direction too much. And sometimes that's where you have something called an aggravation. All right? So if you've ever used a homeopathic remedy, if you use a dose that's higher than the dose that you need, it pushes it too far. All right? And you produce something called an aggravation. All right? Am I giving too much information here too quickly?
Nope.
We're good? Okay, because I want everyone to understand. I want everyone to enjoy this. Yes.
For sure. No, I just kind of wanted to throw in a little, how the water is related to my culture.
Okay.
So it's close to the villages and whatnot, flowing water. It was part of location, transportation, and it's also part of my creation story. Water plays a central role in the Iroquois creation story. So the creation was a sky woman fell from the heavens into the vast, endless oceans, right?
Mhm.
So I'm just seeing the relation.
Okay.
So the ceremonies, there's the water drum.
Oh.
That must be calling holy water, right?
Yeah,
That
yeah.
must be our way, right?
Yeah,
I'm
makes
just-
sense. Yeah. Interesting.
Oniganos.
That's what it's called?
Yeah, that's what water is in Cuba.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I like to see. There's a lot of parallels in these different cultures.
Yeah, no, I just thought I wanted to read that.
Cool. Thank you.
Thank you.
So now dosages, right? Yes.
So when you say a higher dose, it's actually a smaller number.
It's a higher dose or more potent means a higher dilution.
Okay, so 200 is stronger.
200 is stronger, right? Oh, what the? More diluted is stronger. Yes. Higher the number, the more dilution, the stronger the dose. Okay, so
Which makes no sense.
I mean, it from a molecular perspective, it doesn't make sense. You're right. I will admit, from a molecular perspective, but a lot of things don't make sense. Actually, so I used to teach at a medical school, and rule number one is that medicine is not discovered through mechanism of action or how things work. Mechanism of action means how things work. There's lots of medicines out there right now that we don't understand how they work, but they work, right? And if we work backwards, if you think, this is the problem is this, and the mechanism of action that we need is this, and then we find a medicine using that it never works. That it just doesn't work. The way we find actual medicine to actually find like things that work is through trial and error. All right. So the mechanism we always catch it up later. So we're not doing anything new, but homeopathy has a very bad reputation because we really just can't understand how dilute. The more dilute you make things, how they work. Okay. I'm gonna convince all you guys. I can see some. No way! What is he talking about? One of the Lauras is a big skeptic, and I won't say which one.
Well, that almost sounds like placebo.
Yeah. Very good.
Say it.
Yeah, you're right. Why would it not be placebo? So, empiricism is study, right? Like exactly observation, and we just go by the evidence. Yes. So why were the homeopaths back in the day with it? Oh, those guys, they're just empiricists. That's what they used to call homeopaths. They used to call the homeopaths empiricists. Yeah, because they just follow the evidence. Yeah.
Totally illogical.
Yeah, totally illogical, but that's actually good medicine. That's what the beauty of homeopathy is, that the evidence is there. All right. So, how do you know that any of this is having an effect and it's not placebo? How do you know? There's something called a proving. Okay, this is another good term. You can write these terms down if you like. We can review them, or I think you'll catch on. The more you use this, that's why I like interaction. Because when we talk, you'll use the word and it'll stick. So, approving is when a healthy person takes a remedy. Okay, let's say we're taking lobelia. The symptom of that is feeling pressure on the chest. Let's just say that symptom. What do you think would happen if a healthy person took a 200C dilution of lobelia? That's right. They would prove the remedy. Isn't that cool? Because you're going to a healthy person's balance, and you're going to push it into a direction. And what they do is they make double-blind, placebo-controlled trials. I have run one. Okay? So who knows what a double-blind, placebo-controlled trial is?
Sounds cool.
Basically, you don't know who's got what, and they don't know what you're doing, but somebody has it, and you have to figure out why. Like, nobody knows
Cool.
what the heck's going on, and then you have an answer, and you have to figure out backwards.
Yeah, I'd say that's very close. And anybody else wanna chime in?
So you're giving somebody pill A, and somebody else is getting pill B, but they don't know if they're getting one that is effective against whatever they're trying to cure,
Mm-hmm.
or it's a placebo.
Right.
And
And that's called a blind. I'm saying double blind.
So you don't know yet.
The scientist giving doesn't even know.
right,
Cause you know, a person, he says, oh, yeah, how you feel? Is your chest feeling anything? You know? The scientist who's experimenting could say, I give you, I know what you'll give. How's that chest feeling, by the way? Right?
Suggestive.
Yeah,
Yes.
right. So what they do is they set up double blind trials. So there's an experimenter who only knows, right? And then they give package A and package B to the scientists, and they say give these packages. What they don't know is whether they have the A, the placebo, or B, the medicine, and you give it to the people. And so the person who did the distribution of the A and B, it's noted somewhere, but the person giving doesn't know. So people A will produce a symptom, people B won't produce it. So you give it to a bunch of people who are healthy, and when they manifest the symptoms, it's proof. Okay? It's proof, and it's a beautiful proof. And I did this, I had students, I had classes like this, but it was much bigger. And I did a proving on dolphin's milk. Do you have that, Ruby?
no,
It's called Lac Dolphino. Have you heard it?
good.
Maybe, yeah. Dolphin's milk. I ran into it. It was like a new remedy that had come out, and there was not a lot of literature in it. And I said, oh, yeah, I want to see what kind of symptoms this produces. So we did a double-blind, and people went home and came back with the most amazing, odd things. One person said, I was walking down the street, and suddenly I heard all these echoes. Isn't that crazy?
Mom!
Yeah, just like it was like every beep and squeak I could just hear. Right, and now someone it's a double-blind trial. Like nobody knows. Like there are an infinite number of possibilities of symptoms that could have been produced. Right. So that
Did
like
they know though that they were getting dolphins?
No, it's
Possibility of dolphins?
no.
Or bats pee or?
No,
No, like my,
no. It was double-blind.
okay, so they had no idea.
No idea. It could have been any remedy.
Right, okay.
It could have been any remedy in the world, right? And not the only, and she wasn't the only one who reported that. Multiple, and it was a private diary. They weren't allowed to discuss with each other either. They turned their private diary, and we were just like floored, like, oh my God, like wow, how would something like this happen if it's not randomness. Okay, so this is a proving.
That's cool.
Very cool, right? Should we take a break? Would you like to take a break? Someone wants to walk. We can take a 10-minute break if you like to use the washroom. All right, we'll come back. Are you guys enjoying it so far? We're good? Did I pull you in?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So, there's some people online asking questions. If there's any questions, we're taking them on the Patreon link. You're welcome to sign on there. We're doing questions on Patreon. I think the link should be there.
Over 100 already sold. The first one definitely goes sold. They do 4 this year. Yeah, so it'll be in September. Did you like it? I made them skin it for me. Very fun weekend.
any questions, we're taking them on the Patreon link.
Yeah,
Take a little bit of a break right now.
one sip and I'll be washing my nose. Like a program, they make us take our computers completely apart and put them all back together before we could even learn about people. Yeah. Yeah, if you couldn't get your computer to work, you couldn't advance. I guess the same idea as a car.
Yep, no, it's really, small engine courses over at, we're trying to get,
Okay, I was thinking of
yeah,
signing up for
Mark,
one of
the
those
teacher for the
auto
auto.
I
programs.
think he's retiring now.
Yeah, that's what we were saying,
Yeah, my
is
son's
there
in
for,
this class
oh, yeah,
now.
yeah,
His son
he's
is
a great guy.
super.
I was up there last Friday for, the car show they had.
Yeah, they were as well.
Yeah, I got him through that good small engine, I learned so much.
That's a cool class.
It's a good course.
Just to make sure my son doesn't mess anything up, like, because he's speaking over the instructor. I'm like, I don't know if I can put it back together, I don't want to lose somebody, so, I don't know.
I took in, gas,
Yeah.
pressure washer.
Yeah.
I love it, like, I sort of cars myself, but I don't care about that, so they've actually kept it, to show in there.
What's
How
inside?
it moves and what's inside the motor.
Oh, cool.
So when you feel anything, no, you just throw the scrap bucket out.
We're good, everyone came back from the washroom?
Yep.
Let's start off with a couple questions, that's some good question. You're Jennifer.
I'm Jennifer, yeah. This is Katie.
Katie.
I was the odd one.
Yeah. So Katie asked a question. She said, can homeopathy be through movement or some other form? Okay.
Yeah.
It's a very good question, actually. So homeopathy is an idea that like cures like. And when you use it in a diluted form in medicine, then that is a pill form. But the idea or the concept of like cures like could be outside of pill form. For example, have you ever come across someone who's really, really angry and filmed them, or seen their reaction after they filmed themselves?
No, but it's thought about it.
Yes, right? A person may not know how angry and how, out of control they may be. But if they actually see themselves, it's like homeopathy. It's like this realization, like, that's me? Oh my God, right? So that is a homeopathic example of life, a live homeopathic example of non-diluted medicine. It's through something other than that, like physical. Now movement or something like that, if the body is not moving in a particular way and you're pushing it to move in that way, then you're following the principles of homeopathy. So in that sense, it's homeopathy. In that sense. But if you, strictly speaking, when people refer to homeopathy, they're talking about the dilution form of medicine. And another question was how deep does the healing of homeopathy go for like trauma and for other things? So we're going to get into that. But this is a very deep form of healing. So health has layers. Okay, think of it like layers of an onion, right?
Health has layers.
Health, right? So some superficial problems are easy to peel. Right? You can take that layer off, and then you can get to a deeper layer of health. And health doesn't just mean good. It means your level of health, wherever that might be. Okay, it could be poor health even, but it's a deeper. So superficial layers are easier to work at. then you have to take off those superficial layers to get to deeper and deeper layers, all right? Homeopathy can work at very, very deep layers. And the deeper layer, problems at the deepest layers are the worst. And the problems at the superficial layers are most easiest to deal with, all right? And so, okay, so there's something we're gonna talk about all these things. I'm just answering some questions because I had like family and friends who wanted to like kind of see like, hey, you always talk about this, you know, tell us something. You know, we're gonna chime in, so they're asking something too.
So I've been told that 200C works also on the emotional level,
Yes.
whereas usually 30C doesn't. So that's one, we don't carry many 200s, but some we do because a lot of times there's an emotional aspect. Right?
And that's a simple way of looking at it,
Okay.
but it sometimes 30C can cure a very deep problem, emotional problem. So it's not a hard fixed rule.
Okay.
What I wanted to say was that, and I'm not sure if we'll be able to get into this because like we're at level 1 right now, where I'm just introduction to homeopathy. But when our outside layer is damaged, our superficial layer is damaged, it's an easy problem to fix. So you go and you stub your toe. You're like, ouch! Right? And it's blue. Oh, there's a very good remedy for a pain an injury, a trauma at the superficial level. All right? You know the remedy? Oh, Arnica! Yeah, Arnica, great remedy, right? So those are the things that hopefully I'll teach you guys. You can have them in your little medicine cabinet, right? Very easy to solve. When something, however, goes deeper, then there's organs that are connected to emotions and health that the deeper they get, the worse your health is getting. For example, let's say you have eczema, all right? Eczema is a skin problem. It's a superficial problem, all right? In Western medicine, we recognize a triad. There's a very common triad in Western medicine, in observation, that they don't know, everyone's scratching their heads, what's this triad? Well, people who do natural therapies, they understand that this is a superficial to deep linkage. The skin is linked to a deep organ called the lungs, all right? So when the skin has eczema and you are able to find a good remedy, then you've peeled away and solved that problem, and the inner core is very nice of that onion. It's healthy. However, if you use corticosteroid creams, right? Creams that do not help the skin heal. What are corticosteroid creams doing? They're stopping the inflammatory reaction. There's the cells. What is eczema? First, I want to make sure we're always going back to basics. What is eczema?
Skin rash, dry, crusty skin.
But why does that happen?
Stress.
Okay, what does stress mean?
Could be like
Just put, being a kid, growing up in school with frustrations on it.
Any frustrations. Stress could be anything, right? Stress is basically just an external force on an object, like from the physics definition, right? Like if I'm pushing down on this chair, I'm putting a stress on the chair. Now it has some spring that's able to bounce right back, right? So stress can be any force on an object. Now our body is a living organism, and physical trauma, like stubbing your toe, is a stress. But sometimes a thought could be a stress. Waking up in the morning, getting enough sleep is a stress on the body. Not eating the right foods, not having nutrients is a stress. The body has to recover and try to make up for those lost nutrients, and it's not functioning properly. That's a stress on the organism. Yes? So when the body's under stress, it produces, it has byproducts. And a healthy cell takes products, byproducts of stress, of life, of excretion, right? Because all cells have usage and then they have byproducts that they need to excrete. That needs to be detoxed. Have you heard the word detox? The cell needs to clear those out. When the detoxification pathway is not fully functioning, all that builds up in the cell. Okay? And that buildup doesn't allow the cell to function properly or heal fully. That is manifest in things like not looking as nice, as being, as eczema, or something that is poorly functioning visibly. All right? If it keeps on going, then it can make the cell function so poorly that it could become dysfunction, or even worse, become cancerous, or even worse, die. Right? So we're all talking different levels. So eczema is one level of poor skin functioning due to some stress of not detoxifying properly, not clearing out properly, and is causing it to dysfunction. And now that physically looks like eczema on the skin. Okay, that's eczema. If you just put anti-corticosteroid cream or something to decrease the inflammation, have you cured the problem? You haven't. So in homeopathy and in natural medicine, you're never supposed to cure a superficial problem with just holding that reaction. The cure always, when you go to people who do natural treatments, is help your detoxification, clear you up, figure out what the stress is, and decrease it, and help your body have the capacity to bounce back. Huh?
Heal itself.
Yes, heal itself. It's beautiful, isn't it? It's nice. Look, I think you can tell I love what it's. Huh?
Fabulous.
It's fabulous. It's a fabulous system, right? So this pathway of clearing and regenerating itself is the natural system and allows people to be healthy the longest. What if happens if you put those creams on and dampen the reaction and don't cure it? What happens is it drives the problem deeper in. Okay, so now the outer layer of the onion is not just affected, a deeper layer is affected. And the deeper layer and deeper layer. So in Western medicine we have an observation. Kid grows up, starts off with eczema, right? Mom says, why does he have eczema? Let me take him to the doctor, right? Doctor says, take this cream. Put it on. Doc, it's not working. Just keep going every night. Okay, I keep. You know what? It looks a little bit better for a couple of days. When I stop, it comes back. Just keep going. Just keep going. They keep going. They keep going. But you know what, Doc? I think it finally went away. Great. Well, why are you visiting? For some reason, my kid has allergies. Right? The lungs are a deeper organ. Okay, is eczema worse or is allergies worse? Allergies are a more complicated problem. If we had cleared the skin, it wouldn't have developed allergies. Okay, take antihistamines. We're going to give you a puffer, right? We're going to give, right? So what happens to these children? Most children,
Patient for life.
huh?
Patient for life.
Patient for life, but there's a separate problem, deeper problem that happens.
Something else pops up.
Do you know what it is? Asthma.
Oh,
So there is a triad in the literature. Eczema, allergies, and asthma. Right? So now the deeper lung organ is affected. Why is that? This triad with Western medicine hasn't been able to figure out. We can see it, we don't know why. In homeopathy, this is called the wrong direction of cure. When you don't cure the superficial layer, it drives it deeper into the deeper layer. So the direction of cure, which we're going to learn, there's going to be a whole lesson on direction of cure, is inside out. The deeper layer we activate, and that's the deepest layer is the deepest layer is the mind. The most severe and most difficult cases that you can possibly have in the world of medicine is mental patients.
And look how many we have now.
Yeah, I know.
Free range, open air,
Yeah. Yeah.
that's what it is.
Yeah, yeah. So those deeply scarred patients, you know, schizophrenia and depression and really, you know, really broken people. This is the highest grade of medicine, and the most, you have to be the most skilled physician to be able to deal with this type of patient, because they're no, the mind is like, you know, it's you, you know, your essence has been corrupted and like warped, and you can't think right, you can't act right. Everything, every limb is done, it comes from your actions of your insides. So when that deep level of is affected by it, then it's very scary, and this is a result of poor medicine. You know, I'm actually, I give my respect, and I have a appropriate, what's it called? How do you say this? Like, I give respect where respect is due. Okay, so medicine has a lot of strength and has done great things for the service of humanity. No one can knock the benefits they have for surgeries and stuff, but for chronic illnesses, they are absolute failures. And I am so critical of the medical system. And I have lots of friends who are medical doctors, and they know that. Yeah. and I've taught a lot of medical doctors and all these, you know, different places. So this is the failure of medicine. That we haven't figured out that there's natural ways to deal with these things, and we're driving things deeper into the body, and it's, you know, it's supposed to be coming out. We're going deeper into the brain, so we have to clear the outer layers first. So homeopathy and natural therapies is how they work. Okay. Yes.
So just a question, I
Yeah.
guess, because if you speak to a lot of medical doctors as well, do they even candidly express frustration with the
Yeah.
accumulation of symptoms and like what is going on? Because
Absolutely.
they just overprescribe stuff, and then it's like, I'm doing everything I'm supposed
Absolutely.
to, but they just can't see past the end of that.
Yeah. You know, you have a sad life if you're a medical doctor right now. If you're a GP, if you're a general practitioner, your life sucks. Okay? You make a lot of money, but all you're doing is prescribing. You're managing cases. So in the Western medicine, like, you know, I don't know. I don't know. I couldn't do it, man. Now I have a lot of friends who are doing all this, and I think there's a lot of burnout that happens in that field, because they're frustrated, and patients are always asking them as well. Then like their patients are frustrated, and like, you know, every clinic is full, overflowing, and you just at capacity. You're managing only. You're not getting cured. You know, they're still sticking around. The word cure is not even like, it's not even a word in medical literature. Like, what's a cure? Come on, cure is, you know.
We're managing.
Yeah, we manage, right? So Western medicine, yeah, that's the tools they have, but the Eastern therapies, they have this concept. It's amazing. I'm telling you, what we're talking about right now, I'm sure that in my lifetime, I don't think I will see the medical system change. Homeopathy will not see its heyday yet. There's many years it's going to.
Not around here.
Huh?
Not around here.
Not just around here. It's something. It's going to take time, because because of the evidence and this molecular thing and stuff. It's not going to be understood. So it'll be many years before this whole system changes. We have so many obstacles. We can talk about some of them too. Pharmaceutical industries and the medical and the big bills is one of them too. But yes.
I never heard of that perspective in Eastern medicine. Never heard that.
Which one?
Just saying, I never heard that term, Eastern medicine.
Eastern medicine. Yeah.
I've
So,
heard of Western, yeah, whatever, right?
well, Western medicine,
Yeah.
conventional medicine, modern medicine is kind of what you're looking at as the current state of medicine that we live in.
I understand that.
But Eastern, but natives would be considered as all same as part of but that's not really, you know, Eastern. But the Eastern therapies like Chinese medicine and homeopathy, and even the homeopathy is from Europe, Germany, right?
Natural thoughts.
Yeah, natural, all the Eastern, like, you know, Middle and Far East and African and you know, they're all like, they have this concept. So it's a shared Islamic medicine, the they used to call it like humors, you know, all that, they all have this concept the body has a healing ability. Okay. Brains not overloaded? Are feeling good? Okay, go ahead, let me, ask me anything that you feel you want to review, because everything I've talked about is actually really important. Yeah.
So, okay, just going back to the Eastern therapies, because you said Chinese medicine, homeopathy, would that be more like considered like the woo-woo, like
Yeah. Quack.
old, we're gonna use words like quack doctor, just like the more natural things that just can't be straight
Explained.
explained?
That's right.
Okay.
Or even like the acupuncture using the
Yeah,
right,
that's
stuff
one, yeah.
like that. You know, I've had it several times, I think, it's great stuff.
Yeah. How it works, we haven't figured out yet.
No, but, you know, just if you study, I've read about martial arts, I've studied, but, you know, this here could bench out over a year, and it's just crazy, the pathways. through
That's
the
right,
body.
that's right. Yeah, yeah, that's its own world, that's its own course. I love traditional Chinese medicine, and yes, that's yeah. So
What
it's its
would
own-
chiropractors?
They use the same thing. The body, they look at the spine and its movement, because we do, natural medicine has a whole 4 years of manipulation techniques. Slightly similar to chiropractic, chiropractic is its own art, but they basically said, you help rectify where the spine is off, bring it back into alignment, and everything will open up. And you just help it to push in the right direction.
I had a headache every day for 10 years, and I went to a chiropractor,
Yep.
and in 3 months, I haven't had a headache probably in 15 years.
Yeah. That's right, because they're looking at the
Doc
root.
just kept giving me the pills.
Yeah,
But they were ones coming past too, right?
That's all they know. That's all they know.
Yep.
yeah. And I have, you know, like I have friends, like, you know, we sit in the same circles, we hang out. They come, some of them have taken I have many people who take courses with me, you know, taught them and stuff, you know. So, this is just knowledge is power. So right now, you guys are just learning something that's gonna be in your advantage. You'll understand some shortcomings in the medical industry, and you'll know when to use an alternative, or when maybe find, even to know to navigate the medical system in Canada is a big deal. Just to be able to seek the right help. Hey, I just keep on going to the doctor, and he keeps on, and someone says, you know what, all you need is a chiropractor. That's a really good piece of advice. So for you to know that is you navigating the system. And if you guys can take that from this course, then you're already, you know, empowered. So I want to go on to a few more things in homeopathy, but like I want to make sure like they understand postology, dilution factor. One more thing before we go there. So dilution, right, is pushing the strength, right? The strength is determined by the amount of dilutions, okay? And the frequency of the dose is another way that the body is shifted. So, you know when I said the teeter-totter? You push it, and then it comes back. Okay, that's one dose. Oftentimes, they'll tell you, take 2 or 3 pellets today, and then 2 or 3 pellets tomorrow, and 3 days in a row. Or they'll wait for some symptoms, and then they'll say, take another dose after 10 days. Did you have this experience?
Yeah, and some of them was like in really acute things, like if you had a really bad
Yeah.
chest, they would say, take
Every-
it every 15 minutes, and then
Right.
when it starts to back off, you back off, when it fires up, you go, and then just keep
Yeah.
going.
Yeah, so that's them, that's the, pushing, right. That's all, frequency is the other last stage that we're gonna have to discuss all of these things, but, so dosage, posology, and, strength, right, so you understand how that works, and frequency. This is how homeopathics are dosed, and the number C is for 100, X is for 10, M is the 100, 1,000 dilution, yeah. M is 1,000 C.
See, M,
M, when you go to the store and you see 1 M,
okay,
that's 1,000 C.
okay.
X is 10C.
X is its own dilution form, that instead of using 100, they use 10 milliliters. So sometimes you'll see 6X, 10X.
Okay.
It's a different dilution system. Instead of using a 100, 100 milliliters of water, they're using 10 milliliters of water. Okay?
And is it a special water, or is it
No,
not distilled water, or
I think
still
now-
water, or anything like that, or?
They're using now, I think, some type of distilled water in these things, but back in the day, I don't think they had too much. It's just that it's from a pure source, right?
So tap water would not be fine.
Well, I don't know, like,
That's what
see,
I'm kinda thinking too.
see, basically, there was someone was criticizing homeopathy, and they're like, haha, homeopathy doesn't work. Look, I'm just going to drop this one thing into this river, and now that's homeopathy, and you can say, no, that's not how it works. You have to take the water, and when it's exposed to the substance, and it's shaken in a particular way, then it retains the energy of that original mother tincture. If it doesn't, then it hasn't gone through that process. So water running down the mountain, it's pure water, right? It's not influenced in homeopathy. When it's nature that influences it, then it's retaining its natural state. As soon as you do the dosage, then it becomes some type of homeopathic system, right? So as long as it's not exposed to a homeopathic formulation, the water should be good.
So just straight water.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can you give some examples, how you say the way that it shook?
Yeah.
The model?
So, yeah, I don't know the exact, I don't remember what the exact pound per force is, but Hahnemann and the people who basically try to make this into a science of like an exact science, originally he said he had a leather book and he put his arm up just and then he banged his arm down, right? And he said that's the amount I've shaken, right? So it was like this.
Technical, really technical.
Yeah, try to be as exact as possible. So then they recreated that into like some type of a force that shook a certain amount. Now, if you go to buy a homeopathic remedy, they don't have some guy sitting around shaking anything. What they do is they dilute it, and then they have a jet engine, a jet that squirts the water into the next dosage, and they're finding that shaking is called percussion, okay, but they're finding just the fact that it's coming out of this, this like jet, right, and with force and it's swishing around is enough. So this is a very nuanced discussion within the homeopathic community. Some people are purists, and they still go, no, I'm going to make my remedy exactly like Han, and they'll actually do it. They'll have their leather book. You see their little hand mark on it, and they sit there making their remedies and stuff. But like in my experience, I've used remedies from everywhere around the world, and they work.
It's interesting.
Yeah, and I've taken them through X-ray. I traveled with my kids into the mountains, into the different parts of the world, because that's all I had. So you would go through airports, they're like, put this, and then they put the white little pellets of like, what's this thing? And I was like, oh, just sugar placebo. So no one know. I just play along because it's not illegal,
Easier. Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So I was able to get through all these checkpoints and stuff, right? Yeah. So
Sister, you talk about this palette,
percussion,
no, the palette, like the ones you,
pellet. Yeah, little white balls.
okay, so little white balls.
Yeah.
And you dropped your solution onto the pellet?
Yep.
And what's the pellet made out of?
Sugar.
Just sugar
Yeah,
pellet?
it's just sugar pellet.
Okay,
So we sell little vials, and there's 100 pellets in each one.
Yep.
okay.
So from the company, they probably went through like whatever 30 dilutions, and then they took a couple of drops and put them onto the white pellets, and then they shook them up and let them dry, and then now it's ready to go.
So ridiculous, kind of along the lines that you're talking, I went to, I bought some stuff, homeopathic remedy from Goodness Me, and the lady at cash was like, are you okay if I scan this? Like, cause you're talking about like x-rays and all kinds of like machines and stuff, they're like, are you okay if I scan this through a laser? And I'm like,
I don't know.
I don't know, like, cause she's like.
Take it from me. My homeopathics have been through everything.
Okay, cause she's like, it might deactivate them.
Yeah, I know. No, some
Okay.
people, some homeopaths, I'm telling you, homeopaths are, we have, we're very protective of our stuff. Don't drink coffee, don't brush your teeth, because you'll deactivate. I can't get my remedies to be deactivated. One time, so you know how the frequency dose, right, thing? I had, a patient of mine who ended up taking, I told him to take one dose, and he didn't, I guess maybe he didn't understand. I try to be very clear, right? I even write the instructions. And he said he took, I was gonna see him after 3-4 days or something, and he said he took one, and he took it multiple times, and for all these days. And when I finally time I saw him, he was all itchy, and he was like, oh my God, what did you give me? And I was like, how much have you taken? He's like, I took one every, and I don't remember, it was something absurd, and I was like, what? I was like, okay, you're having approving. That's approving. Even if it was a little bit off like this, he took too much, and now he's having an exacerbation of those symptoms. So we try everything. We're like, drink coffee, smell camphor, we had the man bathing in camphor. You know what camphor, right? I said, get in a tub and just sit in it with camphor, camphor, right? Because what we say in homeopathic medicine, if it's exposed to a strong substance like camphor, it'll deactivate it. Nothing worked. we had to just wait it out, Oh, poor guy. But, so my experience with homeopathy is this incredible, and so a few odd things about homeopathy. Number one, frequency matters. Dilution is very strong. And that means that when they oftentimes recommend, I think, 3 to 5 pellets, because they just want to make sure that the dosage has, that pellet was exposed to the dosage somehow. All right? So in case you take 2 pellets, so that one of them didn't have it, the other one had the dosage. But remember, it's way beyond the dilution capacity, right? It's a very small amount. It's some energy. It can be anything, just the smallest amount of it. So even if you don't have a full pellet, the pellet has been exposed, you can have half the pellet. You could have, with little babies, I hardly even give a pellet. I just take a little bit of the shaving off it and just put my finger in his mouth. That's it. You'll see the homeopathic effect is all very, very diluted. So you don't need very much of it. As long as that dosage is there, even if it's on 1 pellet or half a pellet or just a little bit of the pellet, it'll still work. So homeopathy is not a molecular medicine. All right. So we're good. Okay. So I don't think there's going to be an official test in this class, but I want to make sure everyone knows stuff. All right. So I'm going to ask a couple questions. All right. So because before we move on, there's a lot of information to give. Maybe at the end of today's lecture, I'm going to give maybe one homeopathic remedy that you guys can learn about. So, what's the difference between, let's say, allopathic medicine treatment and a homeopathic medicine treatment for a cough? What would you say the difference is? As generals as you, and answer any way you can, you think is right. What would be a difference in approach?
Homeopath, I personally think, something that would clear your esophagus,
Homeopathy would clear the esophagus?
Well, a drink, right, with a sort of herb I'm personally think, something that will soothe your,
Okay, so something that would, so you have a cough that you think is, let's say that's a good question. It's something that is causing you, it feels rough in the throat, okay?
something, that's
So you would give something that is smooth,
Soothing.
soothing?
perhaps.
Oh, no problem, no, I'm quizzing here, alright? Anyone have any different answer?
You would give something to make it angrier. To make it more obvious, like, oh, well, there's a problem, we need to fix that. So it's like, again, pushing the scale.
What do you guys think? Votes? What do you guys think? You don't know?
Homeopathics what she said.
Yeah, so she's giving the answer for
Homeopathy.
homeopathic, and you're giving the answer for allopathic.
Okay, I thought it was the other way, okay, sorry, Mom.
No, good, no,
Clear.
that's why we're doing this. That's why we're doing it. I want to make sure everyone's grasping it. So the
Okay,
allopathic answer, because I said given comparison.
okay,
So the allopathic answer would be give something soothing.
yeah,
Basically giving something the body is not doing. Right?
okay,
Soothing, it's rough, agitated, inflamed. The allopathic way is to give something that causes soothing. The homeopathic approach is you're going to find the remedy that produces that symptom. It's for a scratchy throat. So a healthy person, if a healthy person took that homeopathic, they would get a scratchy throat. But a person who has a scratchy throat, they would find a remedy for that makes a scratchy throat.
So if you have a scratchy throat.
Yep.
Let's say I have a scratchy throat, and I come to you and I say, I got a scratchy throat, you're gonna give me something to mimic
Yes.
make my throat worse.
Yes. That's called like cures like. Now, if the dosage is
But
too
how
high,
would I know?
what was that?
How would I know?
How would you know?
How would I know? Because my throat's already sore. So it's gonna get more sore?
Yeah, so the dosage, so this is the dosage
Yeah.
is how far I'm going to push your body. And the frequency is how many times I'm going to push your body. So if you're scratching your throat, this is the bent that's off.
Right.
Okay? I give a dose that's the right dose. Let's say, a regular dose like 30. It'll bump your body down a little bit, and your body will fix a little bit. So the scratchy throat will get better with the dosage that's accurate to the level of inflammation in the throat. Okay, so let's say 30 is about, well, usually, but let's say
But
you,
my throat's gonna get worse.
No,
Worse or just longer,
no.
like you physically longer?
Okay.
So like, I try, like, because it sounds like it's like you're gonna make me feel like worse than actually I am now, but it's, that's where like the weirdness comes to it all, is that when you actually, again, take the right dose at the right time with the right amount, it actually within, I've had some of them work within like half an hour. You suddenly hear better. Like, it's not like all of a sudden like, oh, I'm gonna die and then I'm gonna get worse and then I'm gonna get better. There's no like, he's using the scale analogy as like he's pushing down and then it gets like you're pushing down, like it gets worse. It doesn't actually change the symptoms, it just kind of activates that system, part of your system that's not working, and then makes it come back up. So it's not like it really physically pushes you down so you feel worse, it activates the part that's not working properly.
but it could,
Okay,
it could,
Okay,
if the dosage is too high,
okay.
okay? So this is called the healing crisis, alright? So when you get oftentimes in homeopathy and in all natural therapies, oftentimes you get worse before you get better, okay? That worsening, the more,
It's hard to keep a patient, man.
huh? Well, no, I see with chronic illness, you'll be surprised. This is one of the great reasons that Western medicine has succeeded, because I gotta go to work tomorrow. I have an exam to write right now, so I need something to just stop my cough or help me keep me up or So we're forcing the body into ways that it's not natural to it, and but it has a long-term consequence. So what we're seeing in society right now is people who have continued to abuse the body through this. Like, for instance, if I just came back from Australia actually, so I was jet lagged, and I don't usually drink coffee, but to keep me up, because the time zone is different, I was using coffee. It was as an upper, right, to keep myself going. So that would be, I consider that a justified use of coffee. It's not like a coffee addiction. But when I come back to Canada, usually, when I wake up in the morning, I don't drink coffee because I'm trying to make sure my biological clock wakes me up and I'm alert when I wake up. Like children, like they spring out of bed, right? Wow, they're running around, right? That's it's a sign of health. So, if you constantly push the body in a way that it's not natural to it, inevitably it'll catch up. You can do it once in a while. You have an exam, you have to go to a meeting, you got to go to work the next day. But for maximum health, you want the body to heal itself, and that oftentimes may take a little bit longer. So yes, it does cause a little bit of an aggravation, but the aggravation is not that bad when the dosage is right, because it's a gentle push. It kind of activates and think, oh, what? Let me get it back, and it comes back to. But if the dosage is too high, if you need all you needed was let's say it was a very fragile and weakly patient, very sensitive, and you used like a 1M, right? It may take a couple days. They might be feeling very ill, and so you overdid it. And also you have to prepare patients. So you have to you say following things might happen. Maybe you should wait till you have the weekend coming up, then you can take your dose. And sometimes you have to. This is how you navigate these things. But the reality is, like just this morning, yesterday, my daughter needed a remedy, and she was feeling very fatigued. So I gave her the remedy, and she said, I feel really tired right now, I need to go sleep. Really good sign. Because when the body needs sleep, sleep is a source of healing. So a person might feel more fatigued, but then they'll go lie down, and then when that's really activated their body's own healing capacity. So that's kind of like the aggravation. The aggravation isn't like, I don't know, like something crazy. It's just like if I'm feeling an itchy throat, yeah, I think something's going on. Like might feel worse right now. It'll be aggravated a little bit, and then the body will pick up.
But
That's how it. Yes.
I was gonna ask this, but, so you're on the teeter totter, so when you're trying to reverse it, how does your body automatically know to come back to center, what's called center?
Good. So who knows what the term homeostasis means?
Heard it before.
Yeah.
Homeostasis. What does it mean?
It's your body's natural way of healing itself.
Yep, it's a natural balance state.
It's
Yeah.
balance.
So all living things, we have a very interesting thing about life. Life itself is a mystery, okay? Living things have something that is like an who knows what entropy means? Entropy. Sorry, we're going into like high school physics now. Yeah? Entropy.
Isn't it like the resistance to movement or change? Something like that?
Close. Anybody else? Entropy.
Sorry.
I'm a science guy. I like all this stuff. I like to tie science into into everything. But entropy is basically the law of thermodynamics. Thermodynamics is how things move and the energy that's expended. And energy always goes towards more disorder. Okay? So today we're sitting at Fanshawe, and the building is beautifully maintained, and these walls are nice and red, and the tiles are all smooth. But over time, maybe not 5 years, maybe not 10 years, but over years, the foundation is going to crack a little bit. The rust is going to, the red is going to peel. The building is going to need maintenance, because all things go towards more disorder. All right? So that's the law of thermodynamics. As time goes by, all things become less orderly. Whatever their order is, it goes towards disorder. Okay? Because molecules have a tendency to always go into a state of wherever there is least resistance. Okay? So let's say if you have anything that's structured, it'll there's room beside it. It's going to want to lean over or fall into that direction. Everything like that. Gases, if there's a gas, if I release a small substance of like a spray of perfume into this atmosphere, it's not gonna stay there, right? It's gonna move around, and it's gonna spread all around. It's gonna go from one little area to spreading itself out. That's the law of entropy. The law of thermodynamics, things will always go towards spreading out, and every single thing in the universe follows this law.
You say the love.
Thermodynamics. This is called the second law of thermodynamics, which is the law of entropy. Entropy is basically things go towards disorder. Alright? Entropy is disorderliness. Alright? So things go towards disorder. So the second law of thermodynamics is a law. It happens everywhere, to every single thing. Alright? Except, do you know what the exception is? Any have a guess? Living things. Living things have some type of it's magical, like life, right? Has this magical ability to take entropy and reverse it. It's anti-entropic. It takes disorder and brings it back to what? Homeostasis, what's your name again?
Balance?
Yeah, no, Laura. You're Laura, yes, okay, as Laura said, right?
Is that all living organisms?
All living organisms. The way they live is by taking disorderly things and keeps on putting them back together. That's what life is,
Yeah.
right? And only living things do that. So what is that magical force? We know it immediately. Because as soon as, you see a corpse, right? That's not life anymore. What's happening is it's immediately going into decaying. As soon as, whatever that magical substance is, that secret of life that doesn't allow the body to go back to its balance, its homeostasis, it removes that force, it's gone, then the body becomes like every other substance. So we're always doing this. Here's your question was, it's a long-winded answer that could bring you back to some, because, I want you to understand that this course is not just about homeopathy, it's about health, okay? We want to understand the world of health. Am I right? You guys with me here? Okay? Because I'm giving you my, like 2 decades of how I've understood the body to be, and then how I explain these things and understand them. The body is always in homeostasis. So, and Western medicine also relies on this. It's not like when they give an antitussive or an antipyretic is the one that you give for having a fever. Do you think they think that your temperature is being balanced by that antipyretic? No. They're just holding it off for a little bit, and then they're hoping the body's going to go back to normal. Because the body always goes back to normal. Body always knows what temperature to keep itself at. It does it all the time. So medicine is relying on that. But in the interim, when it's off, they're giving a few things to get you through that stage. So, but homeopathy says, no. It can, even when it's off, it still has that ability. Watch this, pull my beer. Right? Yeah, the same. So we can give it, we can help it back. Yeah.
So basically it gets back to the allopathic medicine is basically just managing the symptoms, and then when they cure it, that did it, not just the time of the body going back to homeostasis.
So the body, when going back to homeostasis, is actually where that's what they're depending on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's just like, here, we'll give you this. Oh, look, it was the Tylenol. That
Yeah.
And you're like, no, he was gonna get over it anyways.
Right.
No, it was this. So
Yes.
so stick with this.
Yeah. Do you understand?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
So the body knows. That's the unique and amazing thing about homeostasis and life and the body. Okay, so let me ask you another question. As you dilute the remedies, they become weaker or stronger?
Stronger.
Is that too easy? Okay. Alright. 1C dilution is in 10 milliliters of water.
Wrong.
No?
100.
Okay. So that's how many milliliters of water that is?
X would be 10.
X would be 10, yeah. So C is 100. Okay. The homeopathic remedies are made of plants only. What are they made of?
Yeah,
Hmm?
yeah, like minerals and stuff like that all.
That's
that.
right. Anything I made. Okay, I think we're okay. Good. That's pretty good. What else did we cover here? Okay. Can the molecules within a diluted homeopathic substance be measured?
No.
Okay, this is a complicated question. How can a homeopathic remedy be, what is the evidence that a homeopathic remedy can produce symptoms? Okay, I think you know. Wait, anyone else know?
A double blind, you're talking about the double blind study?
Yeah, and what's that called?
Guinea pig. That's when you, using it on somebody that's healthy, would say, I got a cough, you wanna fix it, or wanna know if it works. Laura doesn't have a cough, she gets a cough or pill, then, I don't mean,
What is that called?
I don't know.
Placebo.
No.
Oh,
That would be placebo.
Yeah.
You're talking about something very similar. Yeah.
Empiricism?
Empiricism. That's an empirical way of doing research. It's called approving. Yeah. Gotcha.
You mean the whole experiment, the whole experiment's called?
No, the whole experiment is called a double, like Laura said, double blind, placebo-controlled trial.
Right.
But when a healthy person takes a substance
Oh.
and they show that symptom,
Yeah.
that's called a proving. They prove the remedy. Okay? Alright. Good. So, any other questions? What I'm gonna do is, we're gonna roll into like some fun stuff, but I wanna make sure these things are really well grounded, because otherwise, if I give you the remedy, a breakdown of the remedy, then you will ask me these questions of how, hey, I think I have that, I wanna try it, then you're like, how do I do it? Then we're gonna be lost. Yeah, we're good?
I think so.
Okay. Alright, so homeopathic remedies, right? This is a new page. If you all there, this is our previous notes are all about homeopathic preparations. I think you could probably call it preparations. That's how I was thinking about it when I was thinking about the introduction class. The way we prescribe remedies is through different aspects of the like cures like principle. All right. So we want to. Beautiful thing about being a practitioner of homeopathy. If you are someone like this, I'm definitely like this, and I was like this when I was a kid. I was like, I think I want to go into movies. I want to be an actor, and why is because I like to be a different human being. Live a different, experience a different life, right? But actually, what that really was I was very curious about a human being. I liked people, and I liked to understand their experience. So I thought maybe I could do it through acting or something. And then I'm going to live it in life. But if you're a person who likes to be able to understand another human being, right, then you'll like homeopathy. Because the whole case of process of homeopathy is trying to understand somebody's mind, right? Trying to understand their experience. And for that experience, you have to be completely open. You can't lead them in any way. We're gonna have a session on this anyways. But homeopathy is trying to get into someone else's mind and asking very open questions. And then they explain to you, and then you understand them, and then you find, what are they like? You have to understand what they're like. And then you prescribe a remedy that's like them. Okay? For children, it's you have to observe. Right? So I'm going to give you a remedy. All right? We're going to start with a remedy. I had one in mind, but I don't think here. Should I go with that one? Okay, I'll go with a different one. I'm basing it off of where I'm going to go with this based on class as well. The interest of, and also I want to mention remedies that might be useful to you, because I had a certain thing in mind, but it may not be as relevant to with you guys. So, do you know what quartz is? What's quartz?
Mineral?
Yeah. What is it?
A crystal, mineral.
It's a crystal. Yeah. Do you know what silica is?
It's a rock or, no, it's a stone or soft stone.
It's a softish stone, like quartz. Actually, it can be actually, those names can oftentimes be interchanged. So, do you know where it comes from?
Isn't it like drywall?
No.
That's gypsum.
Yeah, that's gypsum.
Okay.
Yeah. Do you know where it comes from? Sir? Don?
No, you're just digging it up.
Yeah. You're digging it up
From here,
from
from the earth or.
from the earth, often found in mountains and large structures, right? So every single substance, the way it produces an effect is based on its nature. So silica has a certain nature. It's part of this rock structure. It's quite, it has a lot of integrity as a substance, but it is brittle. It can snap, right? It is, it actually, if you look at these mountains, these silica structures, and quartz, it's quite cold to the touch. It's cold, it has a,
Silica?
it's quartz, yeah. In the mountains, when it's in its form, it can be cooled. And it has the brittleness, coldness, robustness of this, if it's where it's, when it's part of its structure, deep in the earth. What else can we know about quartz?
It's memory.
It holds memory? What do you mean? That's interesting. I don't know. I don't know everything about every substance, but
It holds memory, it knows.
it holds shapes.
We use it in phones, all different things, radios.
Oh, so it like
It
holds.
holds memory.
Oh, interesting. Oh, very interesting. So what happens is,
Yeah.
yeah.
When it quartz watch, yeah.
So what happens is that every substance that we're going to study will have a certain nature about it. Okay? And the energetic of when you dilute that substance in that homeopathic form will have some type of a connection with the original substance. So the silica remedy, there's a remedy in homeopathy called silica, made from silica, of course, okay? Extracted from the mountains. What is it used for? All right. So I'm going to give you a picture of I'm going to give you a snapshot, all right, of what silica does and what it's like, and when you find the person that needs it, this silica will be a huge benefit. So the symptoms are person who feels very cold. Okay? And there is a fragility to them. It's a fragile, somewhat weakened, brittle type. They'll say this in the interview. They're like, oh, I don't know, I just feel like really weak or brittle. They might actually use those words. Their vital force, right, is weakened a little bit. They're not robust. They're not strong. And oftentimes they have skin problems, superficial problems that has a roughness to their skin. Right? You should take notes of this, because what I'm telling you, this is stuff you will probably not find other places. I'm giving you as a practitioner, and then I will bring you. I'm going to also later I'll prepare things that you can actually have. But this is my insights as a practitioner. When someone walks in, I can tell when they need this remedy. So the few things I told you, you can see how it's related somewhat to that original substance. Am I right? Then there's further symptoms that as you get deeper, as you dilute, it produces symptoms that you would never know except through the dilution process. All right? The silica patient will not have good bowel movements. There will be people, their fragility and things that they have this weakness about has to do with a weakness in the digestive system that doesn't allow them to fully extract nutrients from their food. They
Absorb, extract.
absorb and
Not
extract.
absorbed.
They won't be able to they will not absorb and not extract. And so they'll have a poor bowel movements or constipation.
Right.
So their digestive tract is slow. They're slow in general. They're slow, cold, fragile, poor bowel movements.
So they'll be coming in wearing extra clothing?
Yep, yeah. Even their voice they'll get tired just speaking. Right? So their voice will be weak and soft. It'll be. Have you know that there's people like speak and they get tired speaking compared to the people who have booming voices, right? This is the opposite. This is the weak voice one, right? And skin problems, all right? And hair problems. Silica is also in hair, right? Silica is part of hair, nails, and skin health. Am I right?
That's what we sell.
That's right, exactly. That's right. So this patient will have poor metabolism, and their poor metabolism will be apparent in their skin, hair, and nails. Right? Poor bowel movements, coldness. You can see like a fragile patient, right? So as a snapshot now. That's a small snapshot. I will give more details later, but this is me as a practitioner telling you this is how I can see a patient like this and oftentimes give silica. Now let's go through a scenario of how we would use silica. So you tell me, person comes in and they're complaining, I just feel like I have no appetite, right? I can't eat. It feels like my almost full. Don't go to the washroom. Feeling weak. Don't feel like playing sports. I don't feel like doing anything, going outside. I don't feel like going for a walk. I'm just too tired. How do we use the silica remedy, and what will it do? That's what I want to ask you.
Ooh.
Bridging these gaps of application now.
How would you use the remedy?
Yeah, how would you use it? You're like, you know what? Okay, let me go to Laura's store here. Pick up a silica. You tell me what dose you're gonna pick up.
What tea?
Huh?
Tea.
A tea?
A tea.
Okay, we're using homeopathy.
Okay.
Yeah, in the homeopathic principles that I taught,
I see.
let's bring it home. Let's see how you would use
Bring
homeopathy.
it home.
Yeah. I'm gonna tie it all together now. You're gonna go home. Your head's gonna spin like what? And all we learned today.
A 30C solution of silica.
Okay, all right, all right. So,
That's good, cause we only have it.
okay, all right, so what can you expect to happen?
What are the symptoms again?
Maybe be forcing to detox?
Would you get hungry?
Yep. Yeah.
And then eventually have a healthy bowel movement?
That would be an example. Yes.
Very
Do you
good.
understand?
And feel warmer.
They won't feel as cold. Right? What else will they feel?
Stronger.
That's right. Do you understand? Now this is a very simple situation. I'm giving you a very simple case right now. Okay? Person comes in, and who do I use? I'll tell you who I have the very interesting thing about me. I remember cases that I took even 20 years ago. And I used to work in Toronto. I used to see children. I started with children actually. Pediatric was my first thing. Then I moved on to other things. But I have kids that are all grown up now. They're like 20s, in their 20s, right? And I'll see someone, and I'm like, oh, I know a remedy I used for you 20 years ago. You were my silica kid. So, children will come in, picky eaters. Picky eaters, mom will say, he doesn't go to the washroom. He's a frail little boy, right? Cold, he's always bundled up more than others, right? And hard to tell with kids, like that they don't have confidence or they feel weak, but you can tell they're a little bit more cautious, you know, when they play, and they, physically they might just be like a little bit frailer, right? You give a dose, 30, right? And what mom will say, what will tell you is, yeah, you know what? I think he asked for an apple the other day. Oh, yeah, he finished his plate. How's the bowel movement? She'll report. Yeah, I think he's going a little more, right? So that's, as a practitioner, you will start noticing that. And then what? What happened?
And she wants something to settle him down, because now he's got too much activity.
They're speaking from the point of view of a mom. What's going to happen usually is that one dose will push him a little bit, and then he will go back. He will improve to a certain point, but he will still not be completely cured. Okay? So how do you use homeopathic remedy? You use the dosage and the frequency, right?
Right.
So what would you expect that to happen?
So they just back off on the frequency.
Well, she's only given one dose, which is how many?
30C.
30C, and practically, how would you use that 30C?
On a sugar cube
Yeah.
internally.
Yeah,
And
usually how many do they give?
that I'm not sure.
Good,
We
good.
always say 5.
Yeah,
5.
exactly. It's 3 to 5 pellets,
Okay.
and he's gonna happily take your little grandson or your kid or whatever's gonna take that. Usually you'll see a little bit of change, and most likely they'll go back to their old condition. So they'll be like, oh, a couple of days he felt good, but he's still picky. So then,
Repeat.
yeah, you repeat. You understand? That's how it's a safe way to use homeopathy. You give it, and then you wait a couple of days, and then you see oftentimes symptoms come back because he's not cured yet. And then this is how homeopathic practitioners take the remedies. They use it, then they wait, they see the symptoms. As soon as it starts dying off a little bit, they'll use another dose. Especially for chronic illnesses like silica. If it's a more frequent, like cold or flu, they might not use it like that. They might use hourly doses. But you use it till you see it comes back, and then you use it again, and we'll see and until maybe a couple of weeks he's back to good eating, or you use a higher dose.
Will the body eventually just balance out itself
Yes.
without the silica?
Yes. So So now your 30 comes in, he's keep going, it means there's something a little deeper, he's still not there.
Okay.
Then you move up to, like a dose like 200, for example. And then when you use that, then maybe that will bring the body back to you. So at some point you'll stop using the remedy.
Right, okay.
You know? So this is just an example, just to tie in all the ways we use homeopathy, dosage, posology, and everything, and how the body slips back. Okay? Alright.
So will the homeopathic help with hair, nails, and skin?
Yes. So what you should notice is within, look, I have a daughter. She was born very frail. Actually, we call her. She was the ugly duckling. She drained mama, and she came out all like she. You know, have you ever seen a baby that looks like an old woman? Have you seen that? Right? You're like, oh my God, he's like 90 years old woman. Like he's all really, or like, oh my God, we're like, baby's supposed to be cute. No, it was an ugly duckling. And she was all frail, and the skin was really bad, and you know what I gave her? I gave her 1 dose of silica, 1 M.
Oh.
1 M. And this girl, within like short period of time, she wasn't nursing, she was too tired to nurse, she was like, always sleepy, not like, she had no vitality, no like robustness to her, right? And so 1 dose, just 1 deep dose, ended up making her like, immediately, she's nursing, she's like, cooing,
Wow.
all right? And then within 3 months, she was like super cute, like,
Wow.
couldn't let her, right? Because she got fat, fat filled out, right? And she got stronger, right? Yeah.
Because I think when we sell silica in the gel form,
Yes, different.
it takes forever for symptoms to change.
Yes. Yes.
You know?
Different. That's why homeopathics.
Yeah.
We're not talking about molecular medicine, guys.
No.
Deep medicine. Deep. This is deep levels of fear. Anyways, we're gonna talk about all that stuff. We'd lovely to see you guys next week. If you have questions, so some of the stuff is gonna. I actually think I gave you guys too much information. So let it sink in. You guys are good students. Yeah, let it process. Next week
I'm
we're
gonna do a little reading.
Yeah, read. I'm also gonna. I'm gonna see. Since it's my first time teaching in Fanshawe, I'm gonna see if do they have like mandatory, like do they have like books or things that they can like recommend, or how do they do it? I don't know. But we'll prepare something for you guys so that you guys can learn a little bit on your off time.
Yeah.
When you come before our next class, whatever you go back and read your notes with, bring in questions and we'll start like that. Okay?
Dr. Ryan seems to be pretty good for the office.
Yeah, Ryan. Yeah.
He's helped me out over the years getting that stuff.
Yeah.
Good guy.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Pleasure to have you guys.
I'll be back.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good night.
Random question.
Yep.
Does Reiki fit into any of the naturopathic?
Reiki?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, so it's not. I never learned it, but I had friends that they were very good at Reiki.
So like, cause you mentioned the Eastern medicine, would that fall under? North
Reiki is I don't know where Reiki started, but I got exposed to it actually in the Arab world.
Oh, I bet.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I'm like, I wonder how many other, like, as far as like spiritual healings or things like that.
Yeah. And it's I mean, yeah, I saw some very interesting things with it, but it feels with the same thing. The body, you're putting your own body's energy and feeling their energy and helping to heal them.
Cool.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Oh, this is really cool. I wasn't sure because it's been like years since I've had to sit in the classroom. I'm like,
Oh, he's gonna be.
and I'm like,
I hope it was engaging.
No, it was. It was cool.
Yeah.
I totally had no idea. I mean, it's such a broad spectrum of students, right? You have no idea who's
Yeah.
what coming in, but
Same here. I was also like wondering what I'm gonna have to happen
yeah,
today.
no, it was super cool because again, like I think a lot of people are trying to figure out how to help themselves.
Yeah.
Like with the whole.
And I hope that we can reach that goal.
Are you at all considering putting sort of like a booklet together with like, you know, like the common, like, cause we're discussing silica, but are you gonna do like arnica, silica, like a couple things to help with colds or like?
Yeah, what I want, the goal here is, bring this stuff up, I'm gonna, because I want everyone to hear this, because I actually want everyone to participate.
Yeah.
And, but my goal is to actually allow people to be able to use homeopathy
Cool.
for themselves.
Okay, I love it. And I mean, like, even as far as like, I'll throw it out there next time too, like animals and stuff like that.
Yeah, totally.
Like, 'cause we have
Absolutely.
farm animals. So I
Yeah,
think
us too.
to do that instead, as far as like, cause you can't buy stuff here that'll help, but no one wants to give you anything. Yeah, amazing.
Yeah,
Thank you.
yeah. How do you turn this off? Mm-hmm.